So can you be fired for filing a bankruptcy case? Watch our next video, find out. So a lot of people are really scared when they're looking at filing bankruptcy in regards to how this is going to affect their employment. And hey, that is a valid concern because it's your job, it's your livelihood, it's how you're going to be able to pay your bills in the future. So yes, I get it, I understand, and I get a lot of questions about this. I'd say this is one of like my top 5 questions that folks ask me. So here's the good news. First of all, now because of the options the courts have allowed, now your employer doesn't have to be notified when you file bankruptcy. Your employer isn't notified when you file a Chapter 7 bankruptcy because there's no employee deduction order or anything like that. In a Chapter 13 case, you have to make monthly payments to the court. And yes, it used to be a requirement that you had to have an employment deduction order be sent to your employer so that those payments would go to the trustee. Now, I'll tell you, I have clients that work for Delta, that work for a bank, they work for Georgia Power, these big companies. They don't care that you filed bankruptcy. They could care less. They have these massive HR departments. Unless you actually work in the HR department, nobody's going to know, who you are or whatnot. You're just another name, another order that gets processed. But now our Chapter 13 trustees have a program where you can set up your the order to pay them, because you got to fund your case. You can set it up to where it comes out of your bank account. So you can set it up that way, and that gives you control. So it's not coming out of your paycheck; it's coming out of your bank account. A lot of my clients love this. I would say probably 80% of our clients choose to do this. So now your employer doesn't even have to be notified. But let's just say, for whatever reason, your employer, they do have to be notified, because what if you have a garnishment? If you have a garnishment, the only way we can stop the garnishment is we have to notify, of course, the other creditor that you filed bankruptcy so they can release it, but we also have to notify the HR department because the bankruptcy will stop the deduction. So yes, in that case, the employer would know. But it's actually illegal for an employer to fire you over filing a bankruptcy, be it 7 or 13. So that's illegal. Now, let's talk about employment. So you're looking for a job. How is bankruptcy going to affect you? Well, it may affect you if you are in a financial services position. So let's say you're applying for a job as a controller, but you have filed bankruptcy. Of course, they're going to pull your credit report because they want to see how you manage money or whatnot. So that could come up, and they may ask you questions about it. So personally, I haven't had any clients have any issues with that. I've got clients that are real estate agents, mortgage brokers, bankers. I've got bankers that have had to file bankruptcy. There's lots of reasons that can cause you to file. But anyway, yes, the employer can look at your credit to see, if they're going to hire you. But if you've already got crappy credit and you've not been paying things, you have garnishments, you have judgments, that's going to look a lot worse than if at least you filed a bankruptcy and you took care of it, so that now you no longer have all that debt and that you've been making your payments. Or maybe you had to do a 13, but you're consolidating and you're doing a repayment plan. That shows responsibility. So that, I think, bodes very well if you're trying to apply for a job in financial services where they're probably going to pull your credit. I think most jobs, they don't pull your credit. But anyway, when a company is reviewing, your credit, yes, they can look at the bankruptcy. Now, if you are applying for a job with any kind of government agency, they can't even take into account if you filed bankruptcy. That's actually illegal. But in terms of, are you going to get fired for filing bankruptcy? Nope, and that is illegal. So, I've been practicing 20 years, and I've not yet had someone tell me that, one of my clients called and said they fired me because I filed bankruptcy. Not happen. I think most employers are aware they would be in a lot of trouble. They'd be looking at a lawsuit if they did something like that. I mean, of course, you can be sued. You can be fired for other things, not doing your job or theft or something like that, but not bankruptcy. This isn't criminal. You are just dealing with your debt. So I definitely understand folks are very apprehensive about, about how that can affect them in the future. But I will tell you, so far, I've not had any of my clients come back and tell me I was denied a job and they said it's because I filed bankruptcy. As a matter of fact, I had, this was a while ago, I had a gentleman that was a mortgage broker, and it was after the whole 2008, 2009 crisis, and he had all kinds of judgments, lawsuits, all these properties that got foreclosed. They came after him for deficiency balances. So he was going to have to file a Chapter 7. Well, before he filed bankruptcy, when he had went to apply for his license, they told him, hey, we're not going to be able to renew it, because you've got all these judgments, these lawsuits, all this debt. He was a hot mess. But someone shared with him that, if you file bankruptcy, we will view that you've dealt with your debt, you've dealt with your financial problems. And so we immediately did a Chapter 7, wiped out all of his debt, and when he went back, he actually had to do an appeal, but when he went back, he got his license. And so he was really happy. And I love that he actually followed up with me to tell me, hey, make sure you let your other clients know that this isn't the end of the world, that this is how they handled it, for me when I was trying to get my broker's license renewed. So anyway, I know bankruptcy is, it is not what most people, the first thing they think of when they're going to try to deal with their debt, but it's a great solution for a lot of people. So, and it lets you get a fresh start. So every case is different, but if you have any questions about bankruptcy here in Georgia or how it may affect you, your job, I'm always happy to answer questions. Our consultations are free. You can actually just sign up. You can go online, schedule one, with our office. You can get a same-day appointment. We do video consults. That's like very popular right now. So we were doing that before COVID, but now, so more than ever, people, love it. So we can do video consults with an attorney, and we can answer any questions that you have.